I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
Why? Say it!
Yeah. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing.
And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Good answer. Good answer.
Hello, welcome to the War Room with Bob and Trent from Steelers Sanctuary, and got some bad news right off the top. Trent, you want to share with everybody who may not know?
Yeah, it appears Jerry Dulac's reporting Broderick Jones is done for the season. The neck injury was much worse than they initially feared, so he's completely done for the season. This is going to be a big problem moving forward.
Yeah, it's everybody who's familiar with our podcast knows what a big fan of Broderick I've been, and even earlier in the season when people were like, "Oh, he's not playing well," and bench him. Well, you know, he started to play a whole lot better throughout the season, despite what PFF thinks. And I think we might be missing him over the next couple of weeks, especially with Aaron with a broken wrist. Although I hope Andrews Pete rediscovers his youth, or Calvin Anderson comes in and plays well, but this is not good news for the Steelers.
No, this is all bad. This is the group that has the least depth out of the entire team, in my opinion, and we just lost one of our key starters. For whatever you think about Broderick Jones, Andrews Pete plays left tackle through his career, but he wasn't exactly excelling at left tackle. That's why he moved inside to guard. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they manage this today. I assume we're going to see a lot of Darnell Washington lined up next to Andrews Pete to give him some help. You're going to have to do that. I mean, you're just going to have to do that. So I think this is going to be a big blow. That's going to be a little bit of an underrated injury that as the season moves forward, I think the fan base is going to start to see that maybe Broderick wasn't as bad as what they had behind him.
Yeah, and Vaughn points out a good thing. Only one penalty all year. He's given up a few sacks, but for the most part, he's been pretty solid against the best edge rushers that the other team has to offer. Now, has it been perfect? No, but people who were expecting a disaster didn't get that, and I'm still of the opinion they can't pick up his fifth-year option fast enough because left tackles are expensive. Dan Moore, got what, $80 million, $20 million a year. So, yeah, it's a bargain for Broderick at this point. Quick question: over under 5.5 snaps for Samuel. I thought he was out based on what David said the other day. Is he on the actives?
I didn't see that he was ever elevated. I don't think he was ever activated to the active roster. Now, I know you can do that
90 minutes before game time, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, you could do that, and you can also oh wait, no, somebody's reporting that he was elevated to the active roster.
Yeah, he's playing today.
Schefter has it on here. This was yesterday. I missed this. That the Steelers elevated Asante Samuel Jr. to the active roster for Sunday's game against the Bills. I mean, they had to. Joey Porter Jr. has been banged up, so I think it's a good move, and you might see him get mixed in this game. 5.5 snaps. I'm going to go under.
I'm going to go over. I think he ends up playing a lot because I kind of like the idea of the matchup, assuming he's the player he was against Shakir. Asante Samuel and Shakir could be a very good, interesting matchup for us.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen him at all as fans, so it'd be interesting to see how he's looked in practices and stuff. Obviously, looked well enough that they felt like he was ready to be elevated for this game. Joey Porter Jr.'s injury probably plays a factor in that. I could really see this going either direction. The Bills do a good job of mixing 11 and 12 personnel, depending on what matchups they like. It's going to be interesting to see how they play that against us today. But I could see that going either way. And Eccles had a very up and down game, I thought, against Ladd McConkey. And I know when we talked Friday, I kind of compared Shakir to like a low level version of Ladd McConkey. He's got that real shifty, quick, twitchy, gets in and out of breaks pretty quickly. It gets open quickly. Like he is a focal point of their offense. There's no doubt about that. If Eccles struggles, we might see Samuel in this game a little bit more.
And for our new friend David, just stick around. I think you're going to like what we have in the war room here. Which, speaking of which, without further ado, let's get to the war room. Oh, hold on. There we go. We're going to start with our boy Troy Fautanu as soon as I can get the rewind to work.
Yeah, so we started doing some highlight packages of some different players that.
There we go.
Yep. So we just do some highlight packages of some players that maybe statistically you're not going to see jumping out on stat sheets, things that I think are maybe some more obscure players that aren't getting highlighted quite as much by other content creators. Troy Fautanu has had some comments from people in our chats in the past, so I actually wanted to highlight him and just show what he's done. He's actually becoming one of the best young tackles in the NFL. I think he's locked in as a Steeler for life already, in my opinion. He's a technician. So on the first one here, this is a pass set against Sweat. He's on the outside. His pass set is aggressive. He gets a Sweat early. He stops the rush instantly. His hands stay inside and controls Sweat from the start.
Other angle, I think you can see this.
This is where you see that. Yes. So if you see Sweat lined up on the outside, look at it, how aggressively he gets out there. Now, I know the line's slanting that way, and you kind of want to get aggressive on this, but he's not just aggressive. He finds his base, and do you see where the hands are? They're a little high right now, but he has full control over Sweat at this point, and there's nothing Sweat can do to really get out of this. So this is something that I've been seeing more and more frequently from Fautanu. And you see him. There's nothing Sweat can do right now to get around him. He doesn't try a counter move. All he does is try to bull rush because he's caught. Once you get the hands on the inside and you have leverage and control, and you saw the way that Fautanu was utilizing his leverage on that pass set, there's just not much you can do as a pass rusher in order to counter that. So on the next play, this is still the same play, I think, right?
Yeah, I was just running it back because you were still talking there.
Yep. So I think once we get to the next set here, you're going to see another matchup between Troy and Sweat. I love this one here. I love this. You can see Sweat's trying to do a counter to exactly what happened on that play that we just highlighted before. And watch Fautanu swipe the hands. He lets Sweat get into him, and as soon as Sweat's ready to make his punch, he just swipes both hands down and face plants him to the dirt. And you'll see it again on this angle here. I love this from Fautanu because it's showing a multitude of things that he's doing to these defensive linemen that are attacking him. You can see the first time I showed it, he got inside on Sweat very quickly, very early. Now watch this one. He's patient, swipes the hands down, uses Sweat's momentum against him, and just plants him in the dirt, and then he's on top of him. That makes for such a clear throwing lane for Mason Rudolph on this one. I mean, as a quarterback, you can't be happier than that right there. So I thought that was a great setup right there by Troy Fautanu.
Our good friend Sid, all we want to see is coherent coaching. You might not want to watch the game today then.
It's not worked out very well.
All right.
So something that, the jumbo package. So the Steelers, I think, found something. I think they found something here with Spencer Anderson packages, not just the jumbo, but the fullback and the offset eye at times too. So this was the sweep around on the fourth down tush push that ends up being a kind of a sweep around to him. I think we found something with what you see in the big jumbo packages. And I actually thought Fautanu did a good job of sealing the edge on this one too. You can see they all do a great job of just letting the defenders upfield and then sealing that edge. And that's actually what helps spring, along with Darnell Washington out leading here. I think that was Washington out leading.
Look at that hole.
Yeah, I mean, Kenneth Gainwell has all day to run. I mean, I know that's a bit of a trick play, but I just thought that was a really nice thing. But I think we found something in the Spencer Anderson package. And today, I know this is going to sound a little controversial because we only see these packages every once. I want to see 25 snaps a game with Jalen Warren getting all 25 snaps with Spencer Anderson on the field. I want to see that combination. And today, they need to pound the rock. So I know we're going to get into some of the Bills stuff here, but I just
do have a Mason Rudolph highlight here.
We do have I don't know if this is a highlight. This is a low light. I actually wanted to highlight this with Roman Wilson as well. He's on the bottom of the screen here, and watch him win this route early. And you got Mason Rudolph with all kind of time to throw this ball, but down on the bottom of the screen, look at Roman. He absolutely cooks. Once he's in this position, he turned the hips of the defender. He was already past him by the time the defender's hips are turning. He won that route pretty easily. The ball's underthrown, which is why it's broken up. But we keep talking about not taking deep shots. We're not winning deep, this and that. It's not because of Roman Wilson. I keep showing this every single week in some form or fashion. I mean, look at that. That's a clean pocket. He has all kind of time. There's no excuse for this ball to come out flat and underneath, and it's just underthrown.
If it leads him, it's a touchdown.
Yeah, he leads him out in front. That is a touchdown. Roman had his guy beat. So I know we're kind of beating up on the second wide receivers. I keep telling everybody it's not Roman Wilson. He's winning consistently down the field. And this is one of like 3 or 4 plays in this game where he had the same exact look. Just beating the guy downfield, and either we don't get him the ball or we do this. That's becoming a big problem, in my opinion.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, because the rumor is with Aaron that he's going to play out of shotgun today. There'll be very few snaps under center. It'll be interesting to see if that makes him hold the ball half a tick longer to let the players get just a little further down the field. Look, if he can change 1.9 to 2.2, 2.3 and still have a clean pocket to throw in, which is going to be a tall task against the Bills. The strength of that team, that defensive line is pretty good, and we're going to miss Broderick a little bit today. But if he can just hold it 0.3 of a second longer, then I think he makes that throw. He can lead Wilson down the field because he probably lets it go as soon as he's beat, not 40 yards down the field.
Yes. Yeah, Mason definitely waited too long on that one. And there was actually a pretty nice pass set by Fautanu on that play as well. I thought he had a great showing of how he gets into his base. And he's a technician. I'll just say this. Like, I think Fautanu is definitely a technician. Everything we saw from the Washington tape is showing up the more that we let this thing play out with him and the more experience he gets. So time to focus on the Bills offense. We know what 2 guys are going to be involved.
Yeah.
James Cook. So here we go in a heavy personnel package with the Texans are actually in like this 5-2 look. James Cook does a great job of being patient, setting up the blocks, and then just exploding through the hole here. And I mean, he just turns on the jets and is gone. He is the key focal point of that offense, not just today. It's every single week. I know Josh Allen gets a lot of the love and a lot of the attention, but I mean, just look at the way that they set these blocks up. I mean, he does a great job. That linebacker, you can see he's trying to get to the edge and cut off the hole out there. Cook has just great patience in the hole. The other tight end clears up, gets a block on a DB here, and it's just off to the races. I mean, this is a guy who's explosive. He's patient. He has great vision. He's becoming one of the best backs in the NFL. I think he's probably in the top 3 or 4 backs in the NFL right now, the way he's been playing. So you have to shut down Cook in this game. We said the same thing about the Bears. We did a good job of stopping the run game. We did a terrible job on the back end. If we can stop Cook the way that we shut down the Bears, then we have a much better shot at winning this game today. So in the next look, you get the Bills in an 11 personnel. Texans have their nickel cover 1 over the top. Nickel coverage with cover 1 over the top. The zone covers up like a man. So you can kind of see they're all in a zone. They are following some of these receivers. But the depth of the linebackers, I think, becomes the key to this play. And Josh Allen makes a mistake here, forcing the ball. You can see how the linebacker was able to get depth. He tips the ball. It becomes an interception. This is something that Josh Allen has a tendency to do. He will force some throws. He will try to make the highlight plays. He had two guys underneath as easy checkdowns. He did not take them. And you'll see here also in this look, you'll see kind of like the Texans are not rushing heavy. They're not rushing heavy. They're trying to keep some contained. He's got a clear a clear pocket, but just the depth of the linebacker right there really is what makes this play. And that's something that we have struggled with when we're in zones. You're not always getting the depth out of Peyton Wilson. You're not always getting the depth out of Patrick Queen that I think we need. If we can get that depth and take away some of these throwing lanes and make Josh Allen work underneath, he tends to get more aggressive once you start forcing these short dink and dunk stuff all game. And I thought the Texans defense, who's a phenomenal defense, you've pointed that out many times, Bob.
Yeah.
They did a great job of forcing Josh Allen to make a bad throw here.
I think one of the big keys to Allen, and it sort of was a key to Ben back in the day. Josh Allen and Ben get compared a lot. That if you made Ben stay underneath until the end of his career, if you made Ben stay underneath, sooner or later he would say fuck it and throw the ball and force an interception. And I think it's the same thing with Allen, like you're pointing out here. If we can keep him where, okay, you got to hit a short cross, you got to hit a short cross, you got to hit a short cross, he's eventually going to want to go down the field. Yeah. And he doesn't necessarily have the talent at receiver to do that.
Yes, and I think that's frustrating him too, honestly. Next look here, Bills are coming out in 11 personnel. It's another 4-man rush for the Texans in a cover 1 zone. It's only a 3-man route with everything covered up. Josh Allen holds the ball. He tries to escape the rush and ends up taking a sack in this one. So you can see the Bills are trying to protect, but the Texans do a great job of generating pressure. They have great coverage on the back end. There's nowhere to go with the ball. This is something that I think we need to consider because we've struggled in zone coverages, and I think it's hard. I personally think that we're going to want to run zone, even though I think we should run man. And if you're going to run zone, I don't think we should run a lot of blitz packages in this one because Josh Allen's so athletic. And to be fair, the Texans were running a lot of QB spy type stuff too, which is a great role for Patrick Queen. Kind of give him that option to blitz off the QB spy at times on like a delayed blitz type look. But you can see that the Texans just, they cover up on the back end and they have enough people out in coverage where it takes away some of the throwing lanes for Josh. Josh is super athletic. He's going to want to try to escape and make a run out of this thing, but the pressure just ends up getting home. So if you can win with 4 and without both their starting left tackle and right tackle, we should be winning with 4. I think that's the key to the game is you trust your guys to win with 4. You play it deeper on the back end to take away some of these throwing lanes for Josh Allen. And I think that's going to be the second key. The first is obviously James Cook. The second is to cover up on the back end. Now, I don't know if we're going to do a lot of cover 1 zone stuff like what the Texans did because we're not very good at it. It's been the Achilles heel of our season. But if we go into that cover 2 look and keep the zone coverages and make sure everybody's got their assignments, I think that could be a key to win in this one.
And then one thing, Josh Allen is hard to bring down, but he can be loose with the football. And TJ and Herbig especially tackled the ball, not the quarterback. I would not be surprised to see a strip sack in this game, maybe even 2. And I think it will be the key to us winning the game, like I said on Friday night. I think there will be a key strip sack late in the game that gives us the advantage and lets us, go up by 2 scores where I expect this to be a close 1-score game throughout. Yep.
Now, I talked about Khalil Shakir a little bit earlier. And on this next play, he's going to get highlighted. He's in the slot on the top of your screen here. This is the danger of a guy who wins quick. And this is a fear of mine in this game because I think he could have the potential to go off. He is kind of like their top receiver. Dalton Kincaid is their top weapon, but he's their top receiver. And you can see, ends up fumbling this, but you can see how he wins so quickly off the line of scrimmage. It's that shifty type of movement. he really does a great job of exploding in and out of his breaks and getting upfield. He doesn't have tremendous top end speed, and that's why to me he's such a comp with like the way Lad McConkey plays. But I mean, he just explodes right through, and like Allen's got a clean pocket on this one, and you can see the safety trying to get there. It's just he's so quick and he wins so quick off the line that he gets open fast as well. Safety makes a nice play on the ball, ends up creating a turnover, but you can see why that would be something, and they use him on crossing routes a lot, and that's where we can be susceptible as well. So I think they need to take a look at that and make sure we're covered up at all times with that one. So this is another one with the Bills and 11 personnel. Texans back out in their nickel. This time they're in a cover 2 look, and they do a 4-man rush. Now, here's the problem. Pause this for 1 second, Bob. Here is the problem with Josh Allen. If you watch at the bottom edge rusher on the screen right here, you're going to see him stunt around to the inside. This breaks the containment on the outside. He got chipped. He continues to go inside because of the chip instead of staying outside. Look at the running lane that this gives Josh Allen. And everyone knows he's capable as a runner. He does everything he can. This was a 3rd and I think 15, if I remember correctly. He gets exactly 15 and a half yards and takes a slide at the first down to pick up the first down. It's just one of those things with Josh Allen. You have to kind of live and die with the fact that you can't run a lot of exotic stuff on the front line, because if you break contain, this is what this dude does. Not only could he be doing this, but he also throws very well off of these kind of like scramble drill type packages. So he's very dangerous, very elusive. You got to treat him the same way we've treated Lamar Jackson in the past. Same thing that we did against Caleb Williams in the Bears game. Keep him inside a contain and make him just continue to be a pure passer. You don't want to let this guy take off, because he could spark the run game by himself. Even if we do a good job against James Cook, Josh Allen's very capable. I think he only has 340 yards on the season rushing or so. But he's always got that in his bag. It's not like he can't do this.
Yeah, and more so this year than ever, even with the healthy tackles, their tackles have broken down time after time after time, and the pressure, the pocket kind of collapses on him, and I think that's why he's taking more sacks this year than he has in years previous, because people realize, hey, we can't let him get outside, but instead of just standing there, there's pressure coming from the edges.
Yeah,
you know.
And I think too, like you're pointing out, like we have the edge rushers to win on the edge without doing a lot of exotic stuff. So I know a lot of us as a fan base, we've been, clamoring for this defensive schematics to do something different and just not have TJ do the same rush every time, not have Alex do the same rush every time. But in this game, that's actually what you want. You want those 2 edge rushers on their 2 backup tackles, and you want them to win early and often and just keep Josh contained and make Josh to be a passer, because his receivers aren't winning. So, like, Josh, he has turned the ball over this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a big key to the game today, as I think it's going to be turnovers.
Yep. Let's flip to the Bills defense. So I want to point out something about the Bills defense here as we get going. They are the number 1 team against the pass. Passing the ball today is not going to be our friend. They are very good in coverage. They do a great job of communicating. Usually, this was a look that I liked out of the Texans. So this was a 2nd and 7. They run an empty backfield out of 11 personnel. You can see the slot receiver from the top of the screen. He got a really good release. Ends up causing the DB to fall over, which should have been a huge gain, but Davis Mills is a backup quarterback for a reason. So instead of it being a huge gain, possible touchdown, he slightly overthrows this thing, does not get it to the receiver in stride. But I thought it was a nice look, the way that they kind of opened up and kind of attacked that man defense from the Bills on this one. So I thought that could be even like a Calvin Austin type route. I think Roman can run that type of a route. Unfortunately,
can run that kind of route.
Yes. Unfortunately, I have a feeling it's going to be Jonnu Smith trying to run that type of a route, who won't get that same release. But I would really like to see us, if we're going to play out a shotgun a lot today, which I had this prepared luckily before the whole thing about Aaron probably playing out a shotgun came out. But it'd be a nice look to try to throw in there if we're going to throw against that defense, because it will spread them out. The strength is kind of within the back end. I know Joey Bosa's been a great pass rusher through his career. Rousseau's a nice pass rusher. But they're not going to have oh my gosh, what's his name in the interior? It's not coming to my mind right now.
Ed Oliver.
Ed Oliver, yes, thank you. My goodness, I think he's out. He's out today. He's been on IR. He's a guy who creates a lot of pressure for them on the interior. You don't have that threat if we contain Joey Bosa or Rousseau, whoever's going to line up over top of the left tackle. Then I think there's going to be some ability to spread them out when we do want to throw. I just hope the throwing is at a minimal in this one, personally.
Ed Oliver is out. It'll be interesting to see what they do with Bosa and Rousseau. Rousseau has not had a great year, but
no.
For Broderick Jones haters, they will remember what he did to Broderick in a preseason game, and now he's going up against our backup tackles. It'll be interesting to see what happens. If I'm Buffalo, I'm lining Bosa up over there, and because he should. I mean, outside of Oliver, he's their best defensive lineman. He's had a really good year.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I wanted to highlight this because this is something the Bills are very susceptible against the run, but Matt Milano is not the problem. If you see this play right here, you can see how he fills on the weak side. And I'll tell you what, I know that the coaching staff likes to run these weak side plays because it creates numbers for them. You can see how the defensive line is kind of shifted over. You got the A gap on the weak side, and then you're kind of in the 3 technique, and then out, wide just inside like a 4-eye technique on the backside. But Milano is such an intelligent player, and he's so underrated as a player, in my opinion. He does a great job of making sure he does not get caught in that block. He fills the hole, makes a great play in this one. I think Espinosa might have been the other guy involved in that tackle. I mean, they are pretty good at filling in the run lanes. And it kept popping up that they were doing really well on the weak side. And I think because of a lot of the tape that I was watching, it was Milano on the weak side. And so it ended up, I came to the conclusion, maybe just don't run at Milano. On this one, you have an offset eye with the fullback motioning over to the strong side. Should have been a cutback lane. You can see as they're running to the strong side. Now, this play is designed to go to the strong side. It is just not blocked particularly well on the strong side. I thought, and this may have been Marks on this play, he should have cut back. Can you see that hole right there on the backside?
Yeah, he's got it wide open.
I mean, he had at least 6 yards before that safety is going to fill. You're also probably going to be one-on-one with that safety, and you have a chance to make a miss. He just misses it. He blatantly misses it. So you can see when the run plays were designed to go to the strong side, things actually opened up a little bit better for them. And in that cutback lane, I think Jaylen Warren would see that cutback lane if it's our team. I think Spencer Anderson is the fullback leading the way. That's kind of why I highlighted him a little bit in the package earlier. I think that would be a play where if it's not blocked particularly well, which we haven't been very good at run blocking, Jaylen Warren has enough vision to get to that backside cutback, and it could have been a really, really nice lane. And I'll take Jaylen one-on-one against the safety all day long because he's going to make him miss a lot, in my opinion.
You can really see the giant hole here on this angle.
I mean, look at the push the tackle got on the backside. And the tight end's getting on the backside, or I think the guard and the tackle were getting. I mean, they've blown that whole side completely up. And Milano right here, this is one of the times where Milano does try to get back over to the strong side, and that's what opens this thing up.
Right,
because he sees the running back right there. If you hit that and you cut back, you got 3 Bills standing in front of you. How do you not see that cutback lane right there? Jaylen Warren, I think, makes that cutback, and he gets through much, much easier.
It probably goes for 30 yards.
He probably goes for quite a while. So the next play here, this is basically Matt Milano just blowing this thing up. If you watch this, the way that he kind of crashes straight downhill on this is why I said it's hard to run at him. He just knifes through, and he took away any type of run lane. right there. And you'll see it even better from the backside look on this one. This is one of those things. If he's going to try this, Mason McCormick has got to pick this up, and you have to give better effort out of this, because all he does is just try to blow up the run lane and force this thing fed back into the middle where he's got some protection. Because look at that. He just knifes straight through, and there's nobody doing anything about it. And now Marks, again, he's standing here. This time he doesn't have the cutback lane. He's got nowhere to go because the running did not open up. So the East and West looks run plays against the Bills in this game weren't going very well for the Texans. I thought they did a much, much better job throughout the game of getting straight downhill. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's what we need to do too. I think we need to attack straight downhill because they're not a great run defending team. They're 30th in the league. And I think rushing yards, I think they're 32nd in rushing touchdowns. So they're not a good run defense team. So I just thought that was something that we should be looking out for. So on this one, I wanted to highlight this play as a possible DK Metcalf play. So if you look at this, the Texans are in a 12 personnel. They motion out the receiver to the very bottom. Now, this is a very long throw in the NFL, but watch how Davis Mills hitches, throws right as he's coming out of the break, and the receiver works back to the ball. So he gave plenty of push-up field, which gave plenty of separation. This was Tre'Varius White on the coverage on this one. Right. He was calling for a push-off, but it wasn't a push-off, I'm not going to lie. I just thought it was a great job of Mills throwing this one far enough behind the receiver to let him work back to the ball. This is something I would love to see them try to do just to open DK Metcalf up because they were in a cover 2 on the back end, and we've struggled throwing against the cover 2 on this one. Aaron has the arm talent to get this throw out there. This is another thing where, yeah, they're a very good pass defense, but there are holes there, and there's ways to manufacture touches for guys like DK Metcalf. And I thought this was something that I would love to see us try to do in this game.
All right. So are we in agreement, Trent, that the key to this game?
You wouldn't believe it if I told you.
But I can run like the wind blows.
Run, Forrest, run! Run, Forrest!
Blimey, you fools!
Run left, run right, run often.
Run all day, yes. I know we said it last week, and I felt like it was true last week. I still feel like it's true this week. Give Jaylen Warren the ball 25 times. Like, can we please quit this like pure share of the running back room? Like, we don't need a pure split in this game. We need Jaylen Warren to go off. If we're gonna win, Jaylen Warren has to have a big game, which means we have to keep giving him the ball, feed him, let him run, let him expose that defense, keep Josh Allen off the field. And we've finished plays once we get to the red zone. We just haven't thrown the ball down the way to get to the red zone. So, like, let's get Jaylen Warren involved early and often.
Do you think we see any continuation of the jet sweeps from last week with Mason?
Oh, gosh. I don't know. Out of shotgun, it's going to be hard to do. You can try that little pop pass thing where they kind of send somebody in motion and you snap the ball, then kind of do that little pop pass forward to the motion man. You could probably try to get some of that. Getting a sweep around at a shotgun is a very long play. I don't think we're built as a run blocking unit to hold out long enough for that play to be successful. So I would prefer not to do that. If they want to try the pop pass, just to kind of give some motion looks. I talked on one of the plays earlier where, I left that out of my notes. So there was a play earlier where I talked the Matt Milano play where he filled the hole that we showed earlier on that weak side run. I do feel like if you ran some motion to clear him out, then you can run weak side a little bit better. So if you do utilize that little pop pass play out of a motion where you would pull the linebackers out, even if the play is not successful, at least it gives a threat that the linebacker has to get outside the box a little bit. Then it opens up some of the backside runs. So I think that could be something that might be utilized. I don't know if it'll be effective, but it should be utilized at least just to change the eyesight and the levels of what the linebackers are looking at.
Absolutely. I mean, I said on Friday I would love to see, because we've run it a couple of times this year, I would love to see a heavy dose of Wildcat today to protect Aaron. And I also think you're right. When you run to the boundaries against this defense, you have problems. They can be had up the middle.
Yeah.
I mean, especially if you get, excuse me, Zach Frazier or Mason McCormick or Isaac climbing to that second level to get Milano, and I couldn't agree more. He's a key to the game. If you can get a big body on Milano, you can have some success up the middle. And the Steelers run that little toss play that goes up the middle versus the sidelines.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see some things like that. But I also, I wouldn't hate Gainwell RPOing with Jalen all day long. If you crash, then you hand it to Jalen, who gets to the outside. Honestly, I would love to see DK as the trigger to the Wildcat, just for a play or two to see what would happen. I know he's never done it before. He's not Deebo Samuel, but then again, I'd also like to see DK as our tush-push guy or Darnell as our tush-push guy. But, it is what it is. At this point, I doubt they're going to change that radically. But Arthur Smith is, known for the running game. He splits carries a little too much, but today's the day. Go in the bag and bring out every crazy running play you got.
Yeah, I agree. I think an underrated or maybe an under-talked about thing also, even though our run blocking hasn't been great this year, Zach Frazier and Mason McCormick tend to get under people's skin the more that you run the football too, because they tend to block a little after the whistle, and people get frustrated by that. But I think that the more they do that and the more that people get frustrated with that, I actually think they start playing better in the run game. So I would like to see that being utilized a little bit, get under the skin of these Bills defenders, let them make some stupid mistakes, let them take a shot at one of those two guys and get a cheap 15-yard penalty that keeps drives moving forward. We might have to win this one dirty and a little sloppy and a little ugly, because you don't want Josh Allen having opportunities. But I think I'm okay with that in this game. This actually should be the Tomlin game that he's always been known for. Is just slop the game up and don't give the ball to the quarterback who's an MVP.
Yeah, there's only a 30% chance of moisture, 46 degrees by game time, wind 15 miles an hour, so it shouldn't be too bad inside the stadium. But yeah, this is but when we played them a couple of years ago in the playoffs, you knew that if it came down to Mason having to make a throw, it was dicey. It was a nice story at the end of the year, but it was dicey.
Yeah.
If this comes down to where Aaron, they've run the ball a lot, and all of a sudden in play action, he can hold the ball for a second and he feels comfortable, and we can get DK down the field or Roman Wilson down the field, maybe this is the time that they actually open it up a little bit. I think they only I think if they throw the ball more than 20 times in this game, either we're down, in which case Aaron should not be in the game, or it's just a complete failure as far as unless it's all early. I mean, if we throw the ball 25 times and 18 of them are in the first half, and then all we do is run in the second half, I'm not opposed to throw on first, run on third. That's what I want to see in this game.
Yeah. I feel very similar in this game the way I felt the Bears game. I think I would run early and often. I would get – I'd almost put 20 carries up on the board before halftime. And it sounds like a lot. It doesn't all have to be, Jaylen Warren, although I want Warren to get the majority of the touches in this one. I just think that I want to see you run heavy early often, try to wear down that defense, and maybe that loosens up some of the secondary that they've had, because they're the best pass defense, and they don't have a lot of sacks as a team. They've got 26 sacks as a team, which isn't a ton. Hell, Myles Garrett's almost had that in freaking 4 weeks by himself. So, they're not getting a ton of sacks. And I think actually, if I remember correctly, I think Joey Bosa leads the team with 4. So it's spread out. There's multiple people that is spread out between So they don't generate a ton of pressure and a ton of sacks, but what they do very well is they cover on the back end and they get coverage sacks as a result of that. So you have to draw them out of that coverage area, and I'm a little worried that if we are not effective running the ball early and often, that they can just keep playing off of these short little check down routes that Aaron's going to want to throw, especially with the broken bones in his wrist. And it's going to make it very, very difficult for us to draw them out of what they want to do defensively. So I would make it ugly. Even if the run game's averaging 3.5 yards a carry, I would stick with it and just keep going, keep the clock moving, keep possessions down for Josh Allen. And as you pointed out, Allen might give us the ball back in opportune situations where we can score on short fields. So I think you have to play that game. I know we all hate it as fans. I know we all talk about how Tomlin's way too conservative. This might be the game where conservative is the right call.
Right.
Especially with Aaron's wrist. You don't want to get the guy killed because you might need him in the playoff if we ever get there. So
when I predicted the score on Friday, I said 22-13. I think there's going to be 2 touchdowns in this game. The Bills will get one, and it'll either be Cook or Allen. You're not going to hold that offense completely down.
Sure.
But if we could turn it into Boz versus their field goal kicker, I think Boz kicks 5. I think they kick 2. We win 22-13. But I do think our touchdown will come. It'll be like a sloppy 15, 13 where we take the lead and then we get a turnover late, and that's where we get our touchdown and we get up by 7, 8, 9 points. And then I think, the Bills, as good as they are, as good as Josh Allen has been, every once in a while you'll see it when it's late in a game that they feel like they should be winning. There's some panic that sets in. I saw it in the Miami game. I saw it in the Texans game. All of a sudden, it's I got to make a big play. Josh Allen from a few years ago gets back, it creeps back in. For the most part, he's great. He plays great. But every once in a while, you can push him into the old bad Josh Allen, who's free with the ball.
Yep, and that's the guy we need. We need to force him into that scenario where he feels like he needs to force some throws. So
yeah,
we'll see. It's gonna be interesting how we attack this game. But I think stopping their run, creating pressure with Josh Allen organically with 4 guys, us establishing the run early and often, I think that's the 3 keys. And if we hit all 3 of those keys, I think we do win this game. It's going to be a struggle.
I think it's crucial on either the first possession or the second possession that we get a sack. We need to get in his head quick because he's coming off 8 sacks against the Texans. If he goes down early, I think he will. Oh shit! I got backup tackles in the game. I gotta play hero ball, and that's what we need. If we can force him into hero ball, we got a real good chance here today. Go ahead.
I was going to say that's a really good point because every quarterback, the more they get hit, that internal clock in their head starts going a little quicker, and that's where he has thrown some passes that go into trouble, and that's why he's creating some turnovers this year that he was able to keep down last year. So I think you're spot on with that one.
Yeah, and honestly, if we can force that sack early, this has to be a huge game for the defense. We pay $160 million for this defense. Today is the day. You got to earn your money. These are not wide receivers who are scary. James Cook is scary. Yeah. Josh Allen by himself is scary. But this is a game where you can sit in cover 2, make them stay underneath, make sure you stop Cook on the run. Bottom line is every once in a while, even as we played effectively, there's that little squirt play where a running back jumps out and picks up 10, 12, 15 yards. If they give that up today, that's a touchdown.
Oh, it could be for sure with him. Yeah.
Yeah. He will cook. I also think I'd like to see Jalen Ramsey just lay the wood 2 or 3 times early in the game and penalties be damned. Just tattoo somebody.
Yeah, he's going to be aggressive. This is a game where he got exposed a little bit a few times against that Bears when they were, especially in the trips look. He wasn't exactly staying in between receivers. He was kind of like hedging one way or the other, and it got him beat a number of times. That's just one of those things that happen when you're transitioning to safety when you've been a corner your entire career. Because you're used to picking up a guy and riding that guy downfield, where as safety, you do have to split the difference and try to take away both throwing lanes. But in this one, because you don't have the speed on that receiver group, he can be a little more aggressive in this one, and it'll actually probably work in his favor. I still want to see Duggar playing deep. I want him when they're rotating out of that, because they started a lot in the 2 deep looks, and then they will kind of rotate where Ramsey starts coming downhill and it turns into like a cover 1. I want Duggar to be the guy who's the deep guy. I do not want to see him up on the line of scrimmage against, especially if Kincaid plays. Oh God, we don't need that. Like, I think I haven't seen an official designation on Kincaid yet, but if he plays, he's a problem. He's a big matchup problem. So I don't want to see Duggar against Kincaid. And Jalen Ramsey would probably be the best fit to guard Kincaid, to be honest with you.
They did elevate another tight end to the roster yesterday, Kaliki Latu. So it's not official, but
doesn't bode well.
Yeah, it's trending in the right direction.
Yeah, because if Kincaid plays, this offense looks a lot different. He's a very, very good player.
They will take shots down the field. When it's just Shakir,
yeah.
Like I said, I think this defense, this has to be, look, bottom line is if the Bills go out and it turns into what happened in Buffalo a couple of years ago in the Kenny Pickett game, if that happens, I guarantee you there will be Fire Tomlin chants in the stadium.
Very possible. Very possible.
And it seems like when he has to coach for his job, we know he's not getting fired. But when he feels like he's coaching for his job, when everybody is telling, you don't think he saw the James Harrison rant? You don't think he's heard everything that's been said about him this week? Look, I don't think he's a very good coach personally, but actually, this is a good point. Gabe Davis.
I was going to put it up too. He was on the field last week
and had a couple of nice plays for them down the field.
He did.
He went to him in crucial situations, which didn't necessarily connect because they lost the game. But when he needed it, Gabe Davis was choice 1 down the field.
And that's what he's done well his whole career there. So, he's their deep threat. I think Joey would match up very well with Gabe Davis. If we run man, when Gabe Davis is on the field, I think I would have Joey matched up 1-on-1 with Gabe Davis.
The Steelers don't like to run quarterback spy as much as you think you think they would with Lamar Jackson, but the Bills are dangerous to play man if you're not going to spy. You have to spy queen on man because if you play man and don't spy defense with their back, Josh Allen's going to find a way to get loose for 30 yards.
Yeah. That's exactly what happened on that play that I highlighted when he did run for 15 yards. Yeah. It was a man-to-man coverage, and the secondary had their backs turned. The linebackers were running downfield with their backs turned, and Josh Allen just took advantage of a ton of running room. So, if you're going to run man against Josh, I do think you have to spy. Patrick Queen's the guy I would have spying all game because he's bigger than and he's more physical than what Peyton Wilson is. Uh-huh. I'll be honest, Peyton Wilson's going to have trouble tackling Josh Allen.
Yeah. So
I like Peyton Wilson. I like Peyton Wilson. I just think, I'll be honest, I think he's going to have trouble with Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm. The only thing Herbig tackles the ball, though. I think if they tackle the ball, that's where they get him. I don't think Herbig can take him to the ground, but if he can get the ball.
Yeah. What do you think about this? Because I agree.
Yes, I think he's played, and bearing in mind, I'm not the guy who minded the holding penalties. I really didn't. I could care less if he holds a receiver, because if the choice is give up an 18-yard completion or give up a 5-yard holding and an automatic first down, give me the 5-yard holding and automatic first down every fucking time. Now, I don't need it to happen every play, But
Yeah.
now that he's changed his gloves, I think
Yeah.
we're okay.
The Cincinnati game where T. Higgins got him for like 50 yards or something like that and penalties.
Yeah.
Okay. We don't need that. They don't have to have halfway to a touchdown because of playing penalties. But I think JPJ's played very well. He's played exactly like a high end cornerback too. I wouldn't say he's a cornerback one. That's what we drafted him to be. He's not that guy, but he is a cornerback too, playing at
And a
a
good
high
one.
level. Yeah, for sure.
Get another guy next year to kind of go along with him. And, I think as much as one of our broadcast partners does not like Omar Khan, you really can't fault these drafts. I mean,
No.
has he gotten a superstar? No.
No.
Has he gotten a bunch of quality players? Yes.
I mean, outside of Broderick Jones, who else could you point to and say, if they've had at least 2 years under their belt, who's not contributing at hell, even if you want to use the most recent class? I mean, Caleb Johnson is the miss.
Yeah.
Burner's a special teamer. He's playing well on special teams. I know nobody pays attention to that stuff, but that's a late 7th round pick playing well on special teams. Troy Fautanu looks like the real deal, in my opinion. I think he's playing really well. He's got nothing but better as the season's going on. In the most recent class, Y.A. Black in the 5th round looks fantastic. Derek Harmon, he's playing really, really well. He's not completely the guy that we drafted yet, but he's getting better each week. I mean, who can you seriously point to in this list and say, yeah, this is a bad pick? I know people point to Roman Wilson, but Roman's getting open. We're not giving him the ball. He's doing his part. There's not much you can really complain about in his draft classes.
No, and I know Andy Weidel gets a lot of the credit, but Omar Khan was smart enough to take his main competition for the job and hire him to run the drafts. Omar knew what he didn't know.
Yeah, yep, exactly. I mean, it just shows if you're a smart GM, you put people around you who are going to help you, and that's exactly what he did. Weidel's a great draft guy. He helped build that Philadelphia Eagles team into what they are. Khan said, all right, come on over and do that for us too. And so far it's working.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be interesting. So any final thoughts before we get out of here, Trent? Chat's been great today. Thanks for all the questions.
No, I think I'm good. Like I said, we established our keys to the game. It's just a matter of hopefully Tomlin and the Steelers follow through on some of this stuff, because you don't want to get in a shootout with the Bills. That's for sure.
Yeah. And if you guys didn't watch last week, everything we said kind of came to fruition during the war room. So Trent does a good job breaking this down. Unfortunately, we didn't do what we said would work enough, and that's why we lost the game. So let's hope today that Arthur Smith has tuned in and listens to what Trent had to say today, because then maybe we win the game.
Yes.
But thanks, everybody, for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Christmas is coming. Don't forget to go up through the Blue Source Steelers. If you just search Steelers Sanctuary merch on the web, it'll link you to the Blue Source. Get yourself your T-shirts, cups for the holidays. And we're going to be here tomorrow to break it all down and talk about what went right, what went wrong, and hopefully have a victory Monday.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Trent, you got anything else before we get out of here?
No, the only thing I'll say is if there's anything that you guys want to see highlighted on this, if you shoot some stuff out to X or leave comments inside this war room, we'll check them. So if there's any things you guys want to see highlighted that maybe aren't being shared by other content creators, let us know, because we'll gladly pick apart the film and go find it for you.
All right. So go Steelers, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.